MS Dhoni is certainly adding value to his team as a batter, as a wicketkeeper, as a captain, as a leader. When he's captaining, he's adding value. So I think if the fire still burns and he's playing as well as he's playing right now, he can play for as long as he wants to go. Who are we to tell him when to retire? Sunny definitely, I think, is one of the top guys. I think at least in the top 3 or 5 of the greatest ever to have played the IPL, for sure. If they continue to stay with the impact player rule, I don't personally like it. I think it takes away from, one, the all-rounders, and 2, it takes away from batsmanship. Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Ask Robbie. I'm so glad that we're going to start this new series, and I hope you guys will keep bringing in your questions, keep bringing in anything you guys want to talk about and have a discussion about, where we can agree with each other or agree to disagree with each other. Let's jump straight into it. First one is from Sahil Agarwal. Your question is...
Hi Robbie, being a big fan of you since I'm a KKR fan, just wanted to ask you, is Sunil Narine the greatest ever to play the IPL? Because he's won 3 MVPs which no other player has ever. And he's really unappreciated, nobody talks about him much. But he has made an impact which no other player has ever done for a franchise. So what's your opinion on that? Thank you.
Sahil, what a great question, buddy. I actually think he is one of the front runners. He's one of the contenders to be the greatest ever IPL players as far as impact is concerned. He will always be amongst the top performers in their campaign. We've seen that happen so many times. I've seen that happen in the 6 years that I played with KKR. He had a couple of lean years, and that happens when you have a career as long as Sunny's had. But Sunny definitely, I think, is one of the top guys. I think at least in the top 3 or 5 of the greatest ever to have played the IPL, for sure. Great question, and I do agree with you. He does not get the due he deserves. The next one's from Vigneshwaran Shankran.
Hi Robbie, Vignesh here. CSK is having an abysmal season. Their batting order with Tripathi, Hooda just don't seem to be working out. If they want to make permanent players like the Walt Brevis or Matre, how does that work between mega auctions?
Vignesh, thank you. That's actually a pretty interesting question. I had to go back and do some research about that. And from what I understand, it's what they can basically do is they can retain these same players at the price that they've been bought, right? So they have that auction value. If they can be retained as auction value buys for the following year as well. So if they're really happy with Ayush and with Devold, they can end up holding these players moving forward as well. So thank you for that question. It's a very interesting one. Adi, work from home. This is your question. Ask Robbie, how did Ajinkya Rahane evolve into this new T20 game and hit the ball like a power hitter? Ajinkya always had the ability to play aggressively, and I think the first time we kind of saw it, or he kind of discovered it himself, was when he was playing for CSK. He was out of the test squad. He wasn't in white ball cricket. He'd come from KKR. The chances of him getting selected became pretty slim. And then he got picked in CSK. And there is where Ajinkya discovered a new gear about himself. 1. Number 2, I think the fact that he wasn't playing to get into any squad. He was like, let me just go there and play with freedom, right? And go and express myself. And because I felt there was nothing at stake in a sense, or you can flip it and say, maybe there was everything on stake. Maybe if it didn't work, he would have probably been done with cricket. We probably wouldn't have seen Ajinkya Rahane playing or leading KKR this year. But it actually worked for him, And I think there's a sense of freedom that came with it. And the fact that he's not worried about security of his spot anymore. In CSK, I think it would have been categorically told to him, listen, you're going to play the next 7 games. We want you to play this way because this is the squad we have. So you need to go out there and play aggressively. So because he got that security, he knew that he was going to play, and they dictated that he play a certain way. He went and played that. And when he came to KKR again, and he's captain, there's no worry about security. There's a sense of security about his spot, which is why I think we think it's power hitting. I just think it's freedom for an incredible player. The freedom and clarity of role for an incredible player. And when you provide that for good players, these are the kind of performances that come out there. Okay, the next question, the Indian _Natak. Do you think 2023 was the ideal year for MS Dhoni's retirement, and now is he just stretching out his career? I think that's a very personal decision. It's based on what they feel, how they feel they're performing, are they adding value to their team or not? And if we look at it from those perspectives, MS Dhoni is certainly adding value to his team as a batter, as a wicketkeeper, as a captain, as a leader. When he's captaining, he's adding value. So I don't think from that perspective it augurs for him or he should retire. I think if the fire still burns and he's playing as well as he's playing right now, he can play for as long as he wants to go. Who are we to tell him when to retire? Would it be ideal? Well, yeah, you want to go out on a high. Maybe he believes there's one more left in him. Maybe he feels that, and why not? And it's absolutely fine for one to feel like that. Harshit BJ, why are RCB batters not able to read the pitch in Chinnaswamy? Has been a perennial issue with the pitches at the Chinnaswamy, and something that not just RCB but even the Ranji Trophy team in Karnataka struggles with sometimes. It's very hard to understand how the wicket will play out. Even if say we prepared a green top wicket. For some reason when you prepare a green top wicket, it doesn't even last a day for Ranji Trophy. Sometimes it lasts half a day, and then after that half a day becomes an absolute batting paradise. And you'll be like, how is there so much fresh grass and it's so great to bat on? But that is Bangalore. That's how the wicket has played over the last few years. For the wicket to become really good or predictable, they need to, I think, relay the whole wicket, and that will be a long drawn process. But I've always said franchises should go and make their own cricket stadiums now. I think we've reached there. Okay, Malub3439. What is your favorite Kannada movie? Also, favorite movie of all time? Love from Davangere. Muttinahara was one of my favorites growing up. Prema Loka was the first Kannada movie I ever saw in my life. That had Juhi Chawla ji in it, but it also had Ravi Chandran in it. I remember. So Prema Loka was my first Kannada film, first movie that I ever saw in my life. But I think Muttinahara would be my all-time favorite Kannada movie. My favorite movie of all time definitely is Forrest Gump. I love the innocence that exists in that movie, and I love how the universe plays a role in every part of that person's life. It's a phenomenal movie. You all should watch it if you haven't. Titan Jr. asking me one lovely question. He says, how much do you earn in 1 month? Actually, not one question. These are plenty questions. How much did you earn when you were in the Indian team? What is your net worth now? How much did you earn when you were in your peak? And do you invest your money in the stock market or do you trade? Please answer. Titan, you've asked a lot of questions. Okay, I honestly don't know how much I earn in a month. I really enjoy what I do, and I know what I earn at the end of the year. And what is my net worth now? I haven't calculated. I would have to say God's blessed me with enough and continues to bless me. How much did I earn when I was in my peak? I think I'm still in my peak and still climbing up the peak. Do I invest in the stock market or do I trade? I don't trade. I do invest in the equity stock market and mutual funds. I do that. The Nifty, I do invest in. I do a little bit outside of India as well. Dinesh Adanyam, this is your question. We've heard that Vinod Kambli gets paid 30,000 pension every month. I do not wish to know the sum, but do you also get paid any such pension? Will Karun Nair get any too? I don't get paid anything. I don't think Karun Nair gets paid anything either. I think there are certain parameters for it, Dinesh. Vinod, I think Vinod Kambli gets paid what he does because there was a timeline for that. You needed to have played before the year 2002 or 2000 or something like that. So only those people would get pensions, and I think he falls into that category. So I don't think we as players who have played past the year 2000 get paid any pension. Chess with Samarth. What do you think of the impact player rule? I've spoken about this plenty. Do you think it's a good thing to have because it's severely damaging with the value of genuine all-rounder, as team would pick one proper batsman in batting and one proper bowler in bowling? Well, you've stated the obvious, Samarth. I think it's a huge issue, and I think it's going to impact Indian cricket in a pretty negative way. moving forward if they continue to stay with the impact player rule. I don't personally like it. I think it takes away from one, the all-rounders, and two, it takes away from batsmanship. I like the fact that batters need to figure out batsmanship. Otherwise, what happened with, say, or what's happened with, say, SRH this year will continue to happen with a lot of teams. But if you look at it, if you've noticed the experienced players in the Indian team. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, KL Rahul, Shubman Gill. Look at all of these players. They're striking at 140 to 150 in this IPL, right? And what are they doing? They're playing pure batsmanship cricket. They're not trying to go at 200 runs, 250 runs strike rate. They're going at 130 to 150, right? And how are they getting to 150? They're not getting in the start of the innings. They're making up and coming to that 150 strike rate at the back end of the innings. So that batsmanship, the youngsters aren't exercising. And if you don't exercise them, if you don't familiarize yourself with that, you will not know how to do it when push comes to shove, when you're playing for the Indian team in tournaments for India, especially the ICC tournaments. And that is, for me, a concern I'm already foreseeing 2 or 3 years down the line. And I hope that the youngsters focus on batsmanship because it is truly at this point dying in Indian cricket. Can you explain the measuring of the rule of measuring bat sizes? What impact it will make if not done? So the ideal width of a bat has to be 4.25 centimeters, right? It's about that much. And the ideal thickness of a bat has to be not more than 40 mm. That has to be the ideal thickness of a bat. So that measure that is kept by the umpires basically goes through the bat, and it is exactly 4.25 mm or 4.26 mm. So it allows for the bat to, the measure to go through, and it's under 41 mm. So it checks the thickness of the bat. That is the official allowed sizing of a bat, cricket bat, legal cricket bat that has been defined by the ICC right now. There have been players in the past, in fact pretty well-known players, who've used bats that are wider than 4.25 mm and before the thickness wasn't an issue. And before they used to check our bats, but they used to check our bats in the dressing room, not on the field or not before going to bat. So Steven Seagal 9 asked me, my experience of the 2007 T20 World Cup summarized in one line. I lived my dreams. That's how I would say it. In one line, I actually lived my dreams. Alright guys, that is it on this episode of Ask Robbie. I'm gonna give a big thank you to all of y'all who asked questions. I would encourage all of y'all to send in video questions so that it can be a little bit more interactive. And at some point, I'm going to make this live. Once we have enough video questions come along, I'd like to do this one-on-one. But I would encourage all of y'all to send in video questions for the next one. All right. Thanks for this one. It was a lot of fun. I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, take care, guys. Bye.